Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready to unlock some serious potential? Today we're diving into The Master Key System by Charles F. Hannell. This book's a classic.
It truly is. For over a century, it's been a cornerstone in the world of success and personal development. Mentioned in the same breath as the science of getting rich.
And we're all about practicality here, right? Hannell didn't just pull this out of thin air. This book stemmed from a 24-part correspondence course, each part building on the last. So it's not just about reading, it's about applying the ideas as you go.
And that's what makes it so fascinating. He was ahead of his time talking about things like the subconscious mind, the law of attraction, way before they became buzzwords.
Exactly. And from what I've seen, this whole idea of the world within is central to his system. Like, there's this universe inside each of us, thoughts, feelings, and it's directly connected to what we experience in our outward reality.
You've got it. Hannell was convinced that we underestimate the power of our own thoughts. They're not just these fleeting things. They're a creative force shaping our experiences.
Okay, so I'm picking up what you're putting down here, but this could be huge. If I'm constantly stuck in a loop of negative thoughts, am I basically inviting those negative experiences into my life?
That's the core idea. But don't forget the empowering part. Focus on positive, constructive thoughts and watch how those can manifest into positive experiences.
So it's not just about wishing or hoping for things to get better. It's about taking control, actively directing those thoughts and shaping our reality from the inside out.
Exactly. And it's not just about material things, a bigger house or a better job, though it can apply to those things too. Heinl believed this applied to your health, your relationships, every single part of your life.
Now, one thing that jumps out from the excerpts is his focus on the conscious and subconscious mind. He seems to say that the subconscious mind is where the real magic happens, the actual making things happen part.
Absolutely. Think of it this way. Your conscious mind is like the director. It focuses your thoughts. But the subconscious mind, that's where those thoughts are brought to life.
I'm noticing he uses the word impress a lot, like urging readers to impress their desires upon the subconscious mind. It's almost like giving a direct order.
It is. And he gives you practical exercises to do this. Find a quiet space, relax your body, and then focus your mind intensely on what it is you want. But here's the thing. You have to do it consistently, like watering a plant every single day if you want to see it grow.
That's a great analogy. And it's interesting, right? This idea of taking action by going inward, it seems counterintuitive. You'd think taking action meant doing something in the external world.
That's such an important point. Hannell's very clear. This internal work is not passive. It demands effort, discipline, consistent practice. Think about an athlete who visualizes their performance before the big game. They're not physically playing yet, but they're mentally preparing. And that preparation can make all the difference.
Right. It's like they're training their minds in the same way they train their bodies. Hannell's saying that if we want to see those positive results in our lives, we've got to train our minds to think constructively.
Exactly. And that's where the internal work starts impacting our outward reality, which leads us to our actions. Hannell argues our actions directly reflect our thoughts.
So it's like our thoughts are the blueprint, and then our actions, they're the building materials. We're building our reality, thought by thought, action by action.
That's a powerful way to look at it. And speaking of building, Hannell talks about this need for harmony during this process of creation.
Right. He connects it to natural law, which I find fascinating. It's like we can't fight against the universe. We have to learn to work with it.
Exactly. And to achieve that, we need harmony in our thoughts and our emotions. Only then can we attract those positive outcomes we're talking about. He uses a brilliant metaphor, comparing it to a musical instrument. Discordant notes will create unpleasant sounds. Same way that discordant thoughts, they create unpleasant experiences in your life.
I love that. That makes it so clear. Now, he also talks about visualization, and it's not just daydreaming about what you want, is it?
Not at all. He gives really specific steps, like you find a quiet place, relax your body, and then create this vivid picture in your mind of what you desire, using all your senses. It shouldn't be just a vague idea. It has to be almost like you're watching a movie in your head.
And the more real it feels, the more powerful the effect on our reality. Is that what he's getting at?
Exactly. The more vivid the visualization, the stronger signal you're sending to the universe. And here's something even more interesting. You can use this technique not just for material things, but for qualities you want to cultivate within yourself. Courage, confidence, even specific skills.
So let's say I want to be a better public speaker. Could I use visualization to picture myself giving a really engaging presentation full of confidence?
Exactly. Now, there's one big obstacle that Hannell doesn't shy away from, and that's fear. He calls it one of the biggest roadblocks to success.
Yeah, he really gets real about that. Even shares his own story about how he used these principles to overcome a serious physical condition. I found that really powerful.
It is powerful. And his advice for dealing with fear, simple but not always easy. He says you have to replace those fear-based thoughts with thoughts of courage, power, and confidence.
Like weeding a garden, right? Pull out the weeds of fear, plant seeds of courage.
You got it. So are you ready to dig into a concept that's everywhere in the personal development world today?
Hit me with it. Is it the law of attraction?
You knew it. And it's not like he invented the term, but he explains it so clearly. Basically, he's saying that, attracts, in every aspect of your life.
So if I'm putting out positive vibes, I'm more likely to attract positive experiences. And well, you know what happens if you're putting out negative energy.
Exactly. And he doesn't just talk about it on a personal level either. He says it's a universal principle operating on all levels of existence.
One thing I found interesting was that he actually goes into the ethics of the law of attraction, which isn't always discussed.
Right. He's clear that your thoughts don't just impact you. They have a ripple effect on the people around you, your community, even the whole world.
Wow. So think before you think, right? Because it's not just about us. It's about how our energy affects everyone else.
That's a great way to put it. And that actually leads us to another crucial point. Thinking positive thoughts is a great start, but it's not enough. We have to take action. We have to translate those thoughts into real-world action.
Right. And he gives specific exercises for that, urging people to schedule time for reflection, for concentration, for visualization. But he doesn't stop there, does he?
No, he goes deeper, connecting action to the idea of service. He's saying that true success comes when your actions are aligned with a greater purpose, with a desire to contribute something positive to the world.
So it's not just about what we can get, it's about what we can give, using our unique talents, our energy to make a difference.
Absolutely. He reminds us that the universe is abundant, there's more than enough to go around, and when you operate from a place of generosity, wanting to see others succeed, it actually attracts even more abundance into your own life.
Like that saying, the more you give, the more you receive.
Precisely. It's a universal principle.
Okay, so we're diving deeper into the master key system, and I'm hooked. But I have to admit, this whole thoughts create reality thing, it's a lot to wrap my head around. How does that even work?
I hear you. It can seem pretty out there. But Heinel actually gets into the nitty-gritty, bringing in science, even physics. He says everything in the universe, from the tiniest atom to the biggest star, is made of energy. And that energy, it's vibrating.
Yeah.
At different frequencies.
Hold on, so you're saying we're all just vibrating energy?
Exactly. We are energy.
Yeah.
And get this, our thoughts, they're energy too. Heinel's whole point is, when we focus our thoughts, we can actually change those vibrations. And that's how we start attracting what we want.
Because our thoughts are sending out similar vibes to those things that already exist in the universe.
You're getting it. Think of it like tuning a radio. If you want to listen to jazz, you're not going to find it on a pop station.
Yeah.
Right. You have to tune your dial to the right frequency. Same with success, happiness, any goal, really.
Okay, now that is an analogy I can get behind. It's not about wishing. It's about consciously choosing what frequency we're putting out there. Intentional creation.
Exactly. And Heinel uses this great example to illustrate the point. He says, imagine a massive battleship. Where'd it come from?
Well, obviously someone had to design it, then build it.
Right. And his point is, something as huge and complex as a battleship, it all started as a thought in someone's mind. That thought became a blueprint, then materials, then, boom, a real physical thing.
Man, that is powerful. Everything we see around us started as just a thought.
Exactly. Which brings us to another key part of Heinel's system, the power of words.
Because words are thoughts just spoken out loud.
Exactly. He believed words are incredibly powerful. They can create, but they can also destroy. That's why he says we got to be so mindful of the words we use, especially when we're talking to ourselves.
So no more negative self-talk. If our words have that much power, we got to be kind to ourselves, right?
Exactly. Heinel takes it even a step further, talking about recognizing our own divinity.
Divinity. Okay, now you're going to have to break that down for me.
He's basically saying we're not separate from this incredible creative force of the universe. We're a part of it. He uses the phrase, the Father and I are one, to get at this idea of unity. Like we're all connected to something so much bigger than ourselves.
So it's about tapping into that universal energy, that power, that wisdom. It's all there for us if we can just learn to access it.
Exactly. It's like we're all plugged into this limitless power source. And our thoughts, they're the switch that turns on the flow of energy.
Wow, this whole deep dive has been mind-blowing. It's amazing how the master key system is over a century old, but it's still so relevant, you know?
Absolutely. The principles Hanel lays out, they're timeless. This book is a blueprint for anyone who's serious about personal growth, achieving success, even just understanding themselves on a deeper level.
You know, the biggest thing I'm taking away from this is the importance of action. Thoughts are important, but we have to put in the effort, take those steps towards what we want. We can't just sit around and wait for things to happen.
Hanel's all about taking action. He gives you the tools, the exercises, but it's on us to use them. We're not just passive observers in our own lives. We are the creators.
This deep dive has given us a lot to think about. So, for everyone listening, what resonated with you? What will you explore further? Until next time on the deep dive, keep asking questions, keep learning, and most importantly, keep unlocking that amazing power within you. We'll see you next time.